Ironically, I called him off on his first attempt. If you do it at 54, you're either leaving the ball or chasing the treble, may not find a single 14. If you do find the treble, it's double 11, which is horrible double.
The first time that Rob Cross did it, I thought he did it because Price was on 140 and he thought it was a risk worth taking. When he left it again, I was convinced he was going to go treble 20 first, but he didn't. His dart at double 11, subsequently after the treble 18 and the treble 14, was a poor one, and I suppose in retrospect it did cost him in a game that was really interesting to watch. But you can take the statistics and just bin them. It made absolutely no difference. But if we were to speak to Gerwyn Price right now, I would ask him, how nervous were you in that game?
Yeah,
and he'd probably come back and say, I wasn't nervous, I was just really wanted to win. I would call him a liar to his face.
Yeah, he looked edgy. They both did, in fairness. That was something I could sort of pick up from. And we know when them darts are low, you're holding on to a bit too long. You haven't got that fluidity. There's a lot of tension in the triceps, and ultimately we talk about nearly blowing it. Pricey nearly blew it in the last leg on 306. I
think he's going to feel very fortunate right now. And when human beings want help, they look up. And in a week where a new pope has been elected, I suppose Mr. Price was looking up saying, please help me. And when Rob Cross was on 76 for the match, he was like this. He was looking up saying, come on, please Rob, don't hit this. I could use these 2 points. And because we're in the last 3 qualifying weeks, that has had such a profound effect. Now, if the results go the way of Price in the next couple of games, for instance, when Aspinall takes on Littler now, if Littler gets the win, and then if Humphries beats MVG, the first 3 games could not have gone better for the Iceman.
Yeah, everything could have worked out perfectly numerically for his position and his chances in making the O2 at the end of this campaign. Someone said it in the chat quite aptly, Price didn't win that, Cross lost it, but in fairness, Cross offered up a lot of chances, didn't he, throughout that match, that on another night when he's pinning his doubles, a lot of legs that Cross wouldn't have won anyway.
Maybe this is one of the reasons why Rob Cross is having the season he is, because his numbers are more than fine. He is a winner on the tour this year, like you and Mark were mentioning earlier, but in this campaign it just hasn't been happening, and based on the situation that he's in at the minute, he doesn't look like he's going to qualify for the O2 unless he wins in Aberdeen and in Sheffield in week 16.
And Bunty's been another example of that, hasn't he? His campaign initially over, however many weeks it was before he just popped out of nowhere and won one, that wasn't as big a shock as people really give it credit for, because his numbers suggested he should have been winning games. But you do go through spells in your career where you even scratch your own head and sort of think, well, how am I not winning? I'm playing lovely, I feel great. You're wiring a little double here and there, or a shot on the balls just brushing against the ball wire, and that happens, that's sport.
Yeah, welcome to the world of fine margins in modern day PDC darts.
I don't think there's a sport with a finer margin, is there?
Probably not. Well, maybe Barcelona would probably argue that case after this meet against Inter, but fine margins, millimetres, microns, that's what darts is all about. And now we have the world champion Littler, who is guaranteed a spot in the O2 at the end of this campaign. He will take on Nathan Aspinall in the second game in Leeds.
Premiership City of Leeds! This is the BetMGM Premier League, all brought to you by the Professional Darts Corporation. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the thousands joining us live and the millions joining us around the world, it's time to meet the players. Would you please welcome the winner of the UK Open and US Darts Masters, a Euro Tour event winner. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the World Match Play. Time to meet the Asp, Nathan
Well, mates, I'm pretty confident that you were listening to Ben Eubank on the talkSPORT network and maybe catching a glimpse or two of it. But I guarantee you one thing, they weren't looking as intense as Nathan Aspinall was at the top of the walk on there. He looked like he was ready for a fight.
Yeah, he has a horrible record, as most of the things. Littler is a bit like when we used to talk about Taylor or MVG during his prime, but he was a little fortunate last week, Littler, and he was a little fortunate against Aspinall in the end. It went all the way to the wire, as did both of the two opening games that Littler competed in last week before going on to beat MVG in the final. So he will be looking for an instant reaction. I was surprised as well how well he played last week, because when he lost in Austria, he jetted straight off for a short break before then flying back and going to Germany.
Well, we found out a few days ago that when the Asp was in Sindelfingen, he lost early, like pretty much everybody from the Premier League did, but he was thinking about jetting to Spain for a day and then coming back. I think at the last minute he realised it was quite an important game of darts in Leeds on Thursday, so I think I better get back for that. That's what he did. He's orchestrated the crowd here in Leeds, and now they're ready to welcome the world champion, who has a 12-1 record against the Asp, 9-1 in the Premier League, and in their meetings in the Premier League this year, Littler has won them all 4. If that doesn't change for Aspinall tonight, he could be in familiar territory.
Premier League champion and the reigning champion of the world.
He looks like he's ready to go, apart from the yawning sign. That may be for a few boos from the Leeds crowd. They know that Luke Littler is a Manchester United fan, but swerving the Sindelfingen event at the European Darts Grand Prix, I'm sure that will give him freshness. But after what happened at the weekend, if England never needs someone to take a penalty, we know that Littler can score them. It's as simple as that. He scored for Angry Ginger's team on Sunday.
Yes, I found out about that today, but I also found out that he was going to say in his younger days, he's still a kid really, he was a very talented flipper before he decided to focus solely on the darts.
And we are very, very glad that he did.
As was the other Luke as well, Humphries. I didn't know that. He played for a really good amateur side.
Aspinall used to be a goalkeeper.
Yeah, and he's a talented golfer. Have you played with him?
Not yet. It's time for that. He's a little occupied at the minute. But Nathan really needs these 2 points. He's just seen Rob Cross eliminated in the first quarter-final of the night. Does that give him extra motivation to go and grab these 2 points from Luke and say, look, I'm the one who's going to snag third or fourth spot, because they're both up for grabs?
Yeah, I think the motivation for this one comes just in getting one over on Luke Littler. As you rightly said, the record is horrendous, 12-1. And well, this is a double whammy for him. It's against a player that he desperately wants to beat in a match that he really has to win.
There is a risk that you could want to beat someone too much. You can be too intense, and Price was a little bit like that with Cross. It wasn't a personal thing, it was about the 2 points.
Yeah.
But Aspinall starts tonight on 19 points. He is one adrift of Michael van Gerwen, who is somehow in the top 4. It is just remarkable. We'll get to him when he plays Humphries after this. But Aspinall, 1 point behind, can jump van Gerwen with a win against the person who's already qualified. He's got a small amount of 35 points and a record 5 nightly wins with 3 nights to go. And also the most 180s ever hit in a Premier League campaign with 3 nights to spare.
Yeah, that's staggering. We were discussing it last week, and I had the stat written down somewhere and couldn't for the life of me find it in my computer, or my laptop, should I say, computer, showing the age. Yeah, but I couldn't confirm it. It wasn't until I got home I realised that the record had been broken. Well, talking of 180s, a statement of intent from Nathan Aspinall.
Should we have a game of spot the 180? Oh, we win. That was it. We hope there are plenty more. And over the 3 Leeds nights, we'll just pause that thought, because Nathan's got a 4th perfect dart and a 5th, and it should be 6. My word, what is this? 3-2-1 turns into 1-4-1, and Littler can't do anything about it.
Well, we mentioned motivation. 30 grand set of darts. There's enough motivation for you if he gets this 1-4-1.
Yeah, to be the 5th person to get a 9-darter in this year's Premier League. Treble 19. Misses it just low. The golden darts can wait. You can try again a little bit later, Nathan, say, share a giggle on the stage. Littler's probably saying, I've got something you don't have.
Yeah, you can have a look at them.
But what a great start. Aspinall hits the treble 10 with the anchor dart to leave 32 after 9. If he can sustain this kind of level for a good few legs at the start of this match, he can put Littler on the back foot.
Yeah, and listen, that's the secret, isn't it? It's literally getting to a level and holding that level. And it's something he is very good at, as the leg is completed in 10 darts for, annoyingly for him, a Honda throw.
Yeah, that'll be the second best leg of the night, because I've got a feeling now that we are going to get a perfect leg. We've had one from Humphries in Brighton, from Cross in Brighton. Littler got one in Cardiff on double 15, which was a world first. And of course Price got one in Nathan's backyard in Manchester when he won that night.
Yeah, and you're talking about, sustaining levels, as Luke finds 2 treble 19s. Luke lost in the opening night, in the opening game, with 113.91. Week 2, one with a 104, one with another 104, and one with 101. And he's joining in the 180 party, and the Premier League this year is just littered with those kind of numbers from him.
It certainly is. Aspinall leaving 3-4-3. That's something you were mentioning earlier.
Yes.
You can't be in the mid 300s and on something like 3-4-3, especially when Littler's on 51, who misses a single 11. He's human. He's at an 8 here.
It's literally the other side of the wire, and then clips the bottom wire at tops.
It could be a substandard 13-darter here from Littler when he comes back. Aspinall back on 2-4-6 though. Short of the treble 20, so goes down for cover. Perfectly picks off 6-19s to leave 112. Littler on his favourite 10s, pushes the outside wire, and then caresses it in for a meagre 14-darter this time. It's one leg all on the talkSPORT Darts YouTube channel.
Well, they're both canny on throw, Nico.
Canny? Pun intended? Yeah, rather canny. Well, this is the 4th consecutive year we've come to Leeds in this format. 2022 saw Michael van Gerwen win the night. He beat James Wade 6-1 in the final. That year, Anderson of the Gary sort was supposed to be there that night, but couldn't appear because of COVID.
Yes, that's right. And also, congratulations to Gary Anderson, who picks up another Euro Tour title after, just not attending them for how many years? 10, was it?
Yep. Consecutive wins at the European Darts Grand Prix, an event that Littler didn't even go to last week. Aspinall was there, but not for long.
No, a lot of them weren't there for long. It was only Humphries and Dobey that won a game.
Yeah, Aspinall lost out to Neil Zonneveld, who's in a rich vein of form at the minute. Lost 6 legs to 2 to Zigzag, as we call him.
The pressure here that Littler's applying. Aspinall down to 87 after 9 in his second leg on throw. But no pressure, because Littler, out of character, has left himself 178 with a real poor visit.
87 for Aspinall. Goes next door, he's got a treble 3. So 9 points off leaves 78, which is now 100 ahead of Littler, but he's only got 2 darts to kill it. Second dart is a prime treble 18, beautifully thrown, double 12 for Nathan. And he's just shy of that by about 3/4 of a centimetre, so he's lumbered on double 6 with Littler going for the 18s here, who gets a nice total of 7 of them to leave himself tidily placed on 52. Aspinall knows this is big. He's got to keep the lead. Double 6 for a 2-1 lead and 3 holes of throw in this match. He resets, throws it, hits it, and leads again.
Well, they're forcing each other to find darts from the gods to get a break, but the treble 18s what match was it where he went 1-6-2 and then so he went 9-18, 6-18s, double 16. I mean, incredible treble 18 hitting. 5 consecutive treble 18s and double 16.
Well, Aspinall was doing something at a recent Pro Tour event in Rosmalen where his shoulder was hurting, so he decided to go to the 19s, and his likelihood of hitting it went over the 80% mark. It was ridiculous, and he still lost that final to Damon Heta. He's on 405 now as Aspinall. Littler's on 325, so 80 ahead, but not for long. Treble 19 gets Aspinall slightly ahead on 308.
Yeah, he's just trying to get a flicker out of Littler and get him to make a mistake. It's not happening at the moment. Welcome along to everybody in the chat. If you do have a question for myself or Nico, keep it civil, keep it sensible. Someone's just asked me, Mace, if you were still playing, would you beat Littler? Once every 15 times maybe.
I'd beat him, and I'll tell you why. Because I would steal his alarm clock, because he wouldn't be able to turn up on time. Well, that's a rather good visit from Littler to leave double 12, isn't it? My word. Aspinall, though, on 170, and he is one of 6 players in this Premier League who have hit a 170 finish. Her start is big.
What's MVG's highest? 130, isn't it?
130 from last week.
Wow. And then the other one's a 167. Is that Humphries?
That's Humphries. This is double 6 for Littler for 2-2, and it's right in the middle. So 2-2 it is with 4 holes of throw. These two buddies who spend a lot of time together because they have the same manager. They are throwing haymakers. Aspinall averaging nearly 112. Littler meagre 106.
Well, the opening 4 legs have been completed in 51 darts.
Well, here we go. Aspinall in leg number 5. First dart is in the middle of the 60, and something's got his attention. What's happened up there? Is it that pesky Blackpool fly crossing the Pennines? 7 years on from ruining Joe Cullen's career against Anderson. I'm sure it can't be the same one. 265, the lead for Aspinall. That's not bad. But that's a lovely use of the secondary switch there from Littler to lead 268. He gets a treble 18 to put him there. Nathan's on the 19s.
And only 3 of them. So is this the point? Littler turns the screw. 268. Rightly starts on 19s.
95.
Why didn't he go for the ball?
He's made a couple of choices tonight that are very uncharacteristic. Now, he's on 173 as Littler now, and he will go the 19s again, I'm sure. But that was very surprising. Even he was shaking his head as if to say, look what you're doing. 173. He's got 4 19s. And then he gets a 5th to leave 78. But Aspinall on 154 has a chance to hold for the 3rd time in this match.
It's got to go. He's gone to start on 19s and it's 7. I mean, he's so prolific on the treble 20. That always surprises me.
There's a few things getting Nathan's attention up on this stage here. This might, if Littler hits tops for a 78 checkout, this could be the first break of throw in the match. He finds it with ease. Maybe he did make a calculating error in that leg, but it didn't cost him. Pretty much the same way a calculating error didn't cost Gerwyn Price in the last leg against Cross.
Well, the number for tonight for Littler is 14, and it's their 14th match.
You can sense how much the people in the middle of the pack in the league really need these points. And there's so much emphasis on winning your first game because there's 2 points for that. If you win your semi, that's a further point. Then if you win the night, you get all 5. Boy, people like Aspinall and Van Gerwen and Price would love to do that tonight to get a little bit of distance before they go to Northern Scotland next week, which is one of the most rambunctious atmospheres of the lot.
Hello to Stan from Canada. Nice to see you tuning in. Here's a question. Luke Littler and Ian White hail from Runcorn. Runcorn. Name 2 other dart players from Runcorn who had darting success.
The only thing I know about Runcorn is that Lisa Stansfield was from there.
What if she could play darts?
She could sing a tune. Aspinall on 3 ducks,
Yeah.
222.
It's grafting hard here for the breakback, and it's an different leg from Littler down to 232. Aspinall on 222. 20 and a 19.
He's going to stay on 19s. It was the right call, but only 164 left with Littler on 232 here. It means Nathan is susceptible. Bull's second dart. Went for a second one. Picks off a 25 to leave 137. That's interesting. Really interesting. Aspinall on 164 needs 6 19s. There's 3 of them. Needs another 3. Gets them. Bullseye for 3-3. There you go.
Wow.
That's how you do it. What a shot that is. Now, Littler's on 137. It's unlikely he's going to take it out, but boy, oh boy, did Nathan just close the door.
Well, that's why he starts those shots on 19s, Nico. He answered my question.
You've got to admire that. This guy, when you look up the word tenacious in the dictionary, you'll just see a picture of Aspinall taking a selfie.
Yeah, that is, if there's one word that sums him up, it is that.
75% on doubles in this match. He's 3 from 4. Littler's at 50%. This is a great game. I get the feeling that a lot of the games are going to be 6-5 tonight because these guys are digging deep. And they know that the big paydays are about a month away.
And they're feeling the pressure. Aspinall still averaging close to 105. Littler hovering around 97. 261 Aspinall, 3-3 on throw. Littler back on 3-6-6, which can't be done in 6, which is what he likes to. He always likes to leave a number after 6 that can be completed in 6.
He's good, but he's not 366 in 6 good. Nobody is, unless they reinvent this wheel, the dartboard, which I don't think they're planning on doing anytime soon. Aspinall takes a breather at 3-3 on the talkSPORT Darts YouTube channel. Thanks for tuning in. Give us a like and subscribe. 206. Now he's got 2 single 20s here, but the second dart is flattened out. Third dart to the 18s. Super intelligent. Went away from the initial target and got himself down to 112. Littler on 241. Trebleless means that Aspinall has 6 darts from 112 to take the lead at 4-3.
And Littler does have this in his game. You've just got to be in a position to take advantage.
Just above the treble 20 and then cushions it in. Double 16, and that was so good. That was like coming home to freshly laundered sheets. It was that good. So cushioned, that second dart, and his confidence on the doubles right now must be sky high. Yeah, he's 4-3 up with 2 consecutive ton plus finishes.
164 followed by a beautiful 112.
He's calmed down as well. The intensity at the start of the walk-on, that has disappeared, and he's now in the bubble. This is something that Price didn't do. He kept the intensity, and he was a nervous wreck the whole game. Here, Aspinall has got rid of his tension, is now playing in an autopilot mode that will make him feel good.
Certainly will. He will be fancying the job. 2 treble 20s. Doesn't fill it. 140 gets him back in the leg.
What do you think Littler's points target is now? He's got 35 points. He can get to 50 if he wins the last 3 nights. He's not going to get to 50, is he?
Listen, he's not one that knows about records. When he won a 4th and they told him about that, and then obviously he was aware of it on the 5th, but he's more. His goal is to win every tournament once. And I think he's not the kind of player that. But I think to get the best out of Littler, there's got to be something on it. And he knows he's qualified, and I'm not sure he would be motivated.
Well, Nathan's motivated on this 170. He's not going to take it out because he's high on the first start, but the 19s are fruitful again. He gets 6 of them to leave 36. Littler is 50 points further back, But this is for 4-4. 118, doesn't get the second one. The second dart was thrown and it flopped as soon as it hit the board.
I think he was trying to be a bit creative and somehow navigate around that blocker. But he's put himself in a world of trouble, because this is for 5-3 for Aspinall, and he'll throw for the match in the next leg.
Huge. Knowing that Price is already through to the semi-finals. He's waiting for the winner. Double 18 for Aspinall. He's missed it low, so now double 9 is calling his name. Across the board, the green bet is missed. Left, he's got one left. And then he goes inside into the white segment, which is 9 points. He is exasperated right now. And is Littler all of a sudden turning himself into Boris the Bullet Dodger? Double 10 with the last start for a 58 check out. He's missed that as well. So
that's when you know he's not at it, when he's missing double 10, even with one dart in hand.
Now the tension has returned. It's 4-3 to Nathan, and there's a huge exhalation right there. He's got 9 points, and it sounds so simple, but when there's so much on the line, a 9 check out is just as hard as anything. Misses double 4 with the first shot. Next one, can he cushion this in? He gets too much of a bounce, and it goes into the single 4. Littler on double 10 with 3 darts in hand. Surely it's academic.
Well, double 10, you would think so, and it is so. Well, I can't tell you how long that one was, because it went on longer than I anticipated, and I forgot.
It's not going to be as long as... Well, I was just about to say not as long as the Joe Cullen leg from a couple of weeks ago in Austria, but something that Luke Littler's just done on the stage, which is very entertaining, but it might not be great for winning friends in Leeds, which is doing the old crying symbol. Well, Leeds have got something to cheer about in the football. Manchester United have still got something to cheer, but only if they win tonight against Athletic Bilbao.
I love the fact that he's prepared to engage with them and have a bit of fun with them. I'm not sure they quite get his sense of humour. He's quite dry, isn't he?
He is very dry. He does like a bit of a laugh. And based on how he's behaved over the last 18 months with these fans, it feels like he's got a skin as thick as a rhino's, which is a very good thing, actually, because the last thing you need in this sport is a thin skin.
Yeah, well, it set Pricey back for a while before he's sort of reinvented himself and tries to just have a bit of fun with it all.
It's 4-4. It's evenly poised. Aspinall 266. He's trebleless. Only 59 gets him to 207. Littler on 276. Could kick from here, but he's got 2 small 20s and a nice switch in the 19s. He's on 179. Aspinall still in control. He's going south. That profitable treble 19 again. 4 trebles, well, 4 19s off the first 2 darts, and he turns it into a nice even 7 to leave 74. That's a guaranteed shot in order to hold in leg 9 for a 5-4 lead.
And it is imperative that he holds.
Littler's just left 80, only 6 points behind. Aspinall coiling like a cobra. 74. There's a big 14. It just missed the treble. Big 20 needed. He's got that. It's right in the middle. He's got to go to the right. And then he thought it was in. He looked to his right. Past the referee's glance. And it wasn't in. It was just too low. And Littler on 8. He's hit a 1. Then a 19. So it's another chance for Aspinall. It's for double 10 and a 5-4 lead miss.
Yeah, the doubles have deserted him in the last couple of legs. And now he's looking at the crowd and he's doing the crying sign to himself.
It reminds me of that song from The Commitments. Who's sorry now? Double 10 for Aspinall. Is he going to be feeling sorry in a second? He's missed double 10 wide by a centimetre. And that one's maybe too close on the outside. He's throwing from just inside the exclusion zone. Double 10 still. He's missed it for a 3rd time. I don't think Littler's going to be feeling sorry for Aspinall right now. He can take a 5-4 lead with a break and throw on tops. Right there. Left centre takes the 5-4 lead, and this could be damaging for Aspinall's chances of the playoffs.
Well, what an opportunity to not only beat Littler, but go on and accrue more points, which could be, let's say, potentially season-changing for him.
Couldn't agree more. It's all about the opportunity to go further. When you win a tournament match, it's not about the money, it's about the possibility of going further. It's as simple as that. And it should have been a 5-4 lead for Aspinall. It isn't. He has to take it on the chin. He's got to move on. But unfortunately, Littler's had 2 140s to start the 10th leg. And Aspinall, as good as he is, it doesn't look very likely he's going to catch him.
Not now. And it's almost... I mean, he is, as you say, one of the most tenacious players. He's a real fighter, but it's almost like waving the flag, isn't he?
Yeah, troubleless from Littler to leave 164. That's fine. 4-0-2 for Aspinall. And when he was leaving the board the last time, he was like one of those arm-flailing inflatable tube men. He was so
You see
so
outside
annoyed.
of shops.
Exactly. 164 for Littler. He's trying to take the 64 off. That's exactly what he does. He'll be on 100 when he comes back with Aspinall 258 points behind. If Littler wins this game, he'll go to 37 points. But the ironic thumbs up there from Aspinall, that was a worldie. He's done it for the second time. Even a maximum's not going to leave him a finish.
Andrew Goulding tribute.
It's only a 140. So 218 left for Aspinall. He's going to need misses from Littler to keep himself in the match. Littler's on 100, and all he's doing is hitting 60 to lead tops, and that is super smart.
Very smart. Great ball management. Didn't go for the tops. And Aspinall shaking his head after hitting another treble 20.
He leaves 78 just in case with his second 140 in a row, but it's tops for Littler. He misses it drastically low. Double 10 left, double 5. It's there, and it's heartbreak time for Nathan Aspinall, who knows that it was all about the penultimate leg. He couldn't quite put Luke to bed. Littler took his chance and ends up winning the game by 6 legs to 4. That one will sting a bit, and when Aspinall goes to Aberdeen in week number 15, he will be behind the 8 ball and be behind number 4 spot.
Absolutely, Nico. And if there's one match that we may reflect on, if Aspinall does miss out on the playoffs, when we're at the O2, that will be a game where we can say, well, that may have been the chance he needed and should have taken.
Yeah, we just don't know what the feed-on effect could have been. It means that Gerwyn Price will take on Luke Littler in the semi-finals tonight in Leeds. And now we turn our attention to the bottom half, which is just as intriguing. And for Michael van Gerwen, who started the night on 20 points, 1 ahead of Nathan Aspinall, that was a really good result for him, because if he can beat the man in Leeds colours tonight, Luke Humphries, he can create a 3-point cushion over 5th spot with plenty of games to go tonight. So keep it here on the talkSPORT Darts YouTube channel. But when it comes to the Darts Premier League, the last thing you want is an online mishap throwing you off your game. Threat Protection Pro helps you dodge bogus sites, and with the Dark Web Monitor, you'll get a heads up if your personal info starts circulating in the online equivalent of the madhouse. Go to nordvpn.com/dartsvpn and get 2 years plus 4 months free and a birthday deal. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. MVG Humphries is next. See you soon.